All right. Good morning, good evening, good night, depending on where you are. Today, we are going ahead and breaking down the crypto news. I have a lot of stuff to talk about today. Today was a day filled with TradFi. I swear, does retail even matter anymore? Do you and I even matter when it comes to crypto anymore? That is something that we all just have come to accept, that TradFi has taken over the entire crypto space. And with that being said, that's kind of the big topic today. I mean, billions of dollars are flowing into crypto. Clearly, a lot of the supply of the major cryptocurrencies out there is going to be owned by these enterprise institutions. This whole decentralized narrative, it's something that has just not been seen over the past couple of years. I mean, some people talked about it in the bear market. Now it's just all about TradFi. They're buying billions of dollars worth of cryptocurrency. So we're going to break down all the cryptocurrencies that are being bought up by these big institutions and kind of what the overarching trend is for everything. We got a couple people here joining from X. We go live on YouTube as well. I'm going to try to do these lives either 12 p.m. Eastern or 1 p.m. Eastern. I've done it for 2 days in a row. Today, I actually got 10 hours of sleep. It was actually kind of insane. First, usually I get 6 hours of sleep. So just catching up on my sleep here. But yeah, let's talk about the crypto market. So today we got what is a TLDR of the past 30 days. What's been outperforming? What's been doing well? We have more people saying GM. Buybacks. Buybacks are the big meta. Buybacks by far are overperforming in this market. And the worst niches, we had GameFi, we had AI actually cool down, which I thought AI was going to do better, but it is what it is. It is what it is. We got to accept our winners and our losers. We had DPIN, we had RWA, Oracles, Unlucky. They all did terribly. The ones that did well, though, the ones we actually care about: Buyback, SocialFi, Data, meme coins. Yeah, meme coins apparently are making a comeback. I'm just not on Solana. Yeah, Solana meme coins are not doing well right now. But if we talk about other chains, yeah, they're doing pretty well, and we'll talk about a couple of them. Lending protocols, which we have a very big lending protocol that's coming out that I'm going to be talking about, World Liberty Fi, which it's got that Trump backing. We all know what happened with that. Launchpads, DeFi, DeSci, AI agents, which I didn't expect AI agents to do well. How's it going, Arcane? Didn't expect them to do well, but yeah, it is what it is. And then that's kind of it. NFTs apparently didn't do too well either. So what kind of coins are doing buybacks right now? Well, buybacks are coming from the coins that are getting treasury companies and also doing token raises. How does a company that is already live do a token raise? Well, I've got a whiteboard for that. I'm going through my little mini Alex Becker era. I noticed that he has a whiteboard on most of his videos. It's really easy to explain things when you have a whiteboard. So let's talk about buybacks. If you want to raise, let's make this bigger. If you want to raise, $1 million in crypto, $1 million, $1 million in crypto. What is the easiest way to raise $1 million in crypto? Well, you do token sales. So I give you this token at 5 cents a coin. And when I launch it, I want to launch it at 10 cents a coin. So I'll just go ahead and do my little token raise here. I'm like, okay, well, that's cool. Well, but the problem is that if I raise coins at this valuation, when the token actually launches, they're going to be selling on my head for double that. So where do I get further demand? Well, what a lot of these companies will do, which is very debatable, is they like to print more. They'll just print more and more and more and more. So they'll get 70% of the supply for community or ecosystem or whatever rewards, and they'll use some of it to raise more money to try to defend their price. What they'll do is they'll do something like, okay, well, you can get 1% of the supply for $100,000. Right? So $100,000 right here. Boom, 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 boom. Now, this is going to be locked for a certain period of time. Usually it's something like 3 to 12 months. That's usually the amount of time that these things are locked up for. And they can kind of predict that once these tokens are unlocked, of course, they're going to be selling on top of our heads. But if we can raise the token price, of course, we'll sell this at, at 0.1. So the token launches at 0.1. We'll sell it at 0.05, like I said before, at half the price. But it's locked up for this period of time. As the token goes up to 0.15, for example, they can go ahead and do another token raise. So they'll do even less than that. Those 0.3% of the supply and they'll raise another 100,000, and they just continue this loop over and over and over and over and over again until pretty much they've run their course and run out of all of these extra coins that they have. And that's how most of these guys just continue to raise money and continue pumping it up. This is kind of what we're seeing with treasury companies. All they're doing is they're grabbing a bunch of shares, they're issuing shares, and they're selling shares for a certain price. And this price is usually pretty damn good. They're starting these little lines of credits. And they're able to raise billions of dollars on their stock. And then what they do is they convert the stock into more crypto. And as the value of this crypto goes up, they can very easily have these guys sell it because they just raise more. They just keep raising more based on the crypto. So this loop is violent. And eventually, if the crypto prices go down, then everybody is sad. Everybody's sad if the crypto prices goes down, because then they can't raise more money and this whole loop just dies and there's no flywheel. But as long as the prices keep going up, they can kind of just keep doing this over and over and over again. We can predict the bear market will come when prices start to go down and they can no longer do this. Just makes a lot of sad people. But as long as the prices keep going up or they stagnate, they just keep raising money over and over and over and over and over again. That's all they're going to do. So, yeah, we love Ponzi's. Buybacks are very bullish. So if a crypto company is doing buybacks, what have we learned? What we've learned is it's unsustainable, more than likely. And we've also learned that we should be taking profits quite aggressively, because as the price of these things goes up, you know, there is a seller at the end of that. There are going to be a lot of people selling that, and they're raising money in a very violent way. So if I see tokens start to go up very drastically, I want to sell. But there's another form of buyback that is out there that is sustainable. And it's called running a profitable company. I know it's crazy. It's crazy. Unheard of in crypto, but it does exist. And it usually exists from people either gambling or gambling. Gambling is like the only way people make money in crypto. All right. So people are gambling on futures. They're speculating. They're doing 10x leverage. They're all getting liquidated. And then these protocols make a ton of money and they're able to buy back their token. Great. We all love it. Hyperliquid's the one that's doing it the best. That's why Hyperliquid's going to go to $200 a coin, because more people are going to gamble. More people are going to get liquidated. And inevitably, more people will join Hyperliquid as a result, because Hyperliquid's price will keep going up until the end of the bull market when nobody's interested anymore. And of course, everybody becomes a sad face. But for now, everybody's a happy face. As long as everybody's a happy face, we're all going to be killing it here. We're all going to be killing it here. So that's the buyback meta that's currently going on. I think this meta is much better than the other metas that we've had in the crypto space. Probably the best meta. Stock buybacks, historically, very good for stocks. We've seen it with Apple. Apple wasn't doing buybacks when Steve Jobs was alive. After he passed away, they stopped innovating and they started just doing buybacks on their stock. They spent a lot of money doing it, but the Apple stock just keeps going up. And that's what most stocks do these days. They just keep pumping it. 85% of all income from rich people comes from investments, and that's because of the buyback model. So once TradFi comes into the crypto space, what do you think they're going to do? They're all going to do the same playbook that they know works in the stock market, which is buybacks. So buybacks is not just a narrative, it is the future. The future is going to be buybacks. So what cryptos should we be looking at? Well, there's a couple. There's Hype, which Hype is the big one. Pump Fund, of course, is also doing it with the whole meme coin space. They're profiting off people just rugging meme coins over and over, which it's kind of working over the past month, up 14% since its launch. We know how that goes, kind of wishy-washy. I think they raised around this price, so people aren't down too bad. Maybe they're down like 10, 20%. But yeah, they raised $600 million. So that's a lot of money. In terms of Bitcoin treasury companies, a good amount of supply is held by entities. $396 billion worth of Bitcoin. That is insane. Like, that's actually insane. 17% of the 21 million Bitcoins owned by Bitcoin treasury companies. I would not be surprised if this number goes up to 40, 50% in the next couple of years. Like, that wouldn't shock me in the slightest. ETFs own 7% of the supply, 2% owned by countries, which is going to be much higher in the future. 4% is owned by public companies, and then 2% by private companies. That's insane. That's actually insane. But it's only starting with Ethereum, which On Ethereum, only about 1% of the supply. Well, I guess a more accurate depiction would be 2%. So like 2% of the supply right now is owned by institutions. And we know in Bitcoin, that number is like 17%. So very clearly, it's going to be going up a hell of a lot more. Now, if you know anything about cryptocurrency, you know that massive institutions holding them is good, because whales that are having tons and tons and tons and tons of liquid, they have almost no reason to take massive amounts of profit. If you're secure, you don't need to dump tomorrow. If you're a whale that went all into Ethereum, you need it to do well, and you will dump the second it does well. But these treasury companies don't really need to do that. They could just keep raising and raising and raising and raising with their stock. They don't care. They'll just keep doing it over and over as long as they can, and they'll cash out in other ways. They'll figure it out. That's the future. There's no reason why 20 to 50% of the supply for Ethereum isn't going to be owned by institutions. There's no reason, for example, Big A is saying how these treasury companies are going to perform in the middle of the bear market. Well, that's not for you to worry about, Big A. You're going to have dumped before the bear market happens. I mean, that's the goal. You're going to dump, so you're not going to care. We're going to get a Luna crash probably from all these institutions buying up all of these treasuries. Now, I'm sure a good amount of them will be okay. Like, I don't think MicroStrategy is going to be the bear market indicator. It's probably going to be smaller companies that can't afford to run their companies because they've been extracting too much money, so they need to start selling their Ethereum. Like, that's probably going to be the thing. But the big companies, if they're doing it right, they should be fine. I don't think they're going to be. It's not like the Ponzi isn't that extreme. It's only extreme for small companies. But anyway, that's a lot of money. But a lot of money is going to come into this stuff. This is only $7 billion worth of Ethereum. We saw with Bitcoin treasury companies, that number is $400 billion. There's no reason this number could not be significantly higher in the future. We're only starting off. Am I trying to profit off of Bitcoin and crypto pumping? Yeah, obviously. Obviously, I'm trying to profit off of crypto pumping. That's like the most obvious question anybody's ever seen. Anyway, let's talk about more people trying to buy things. We have SBI, which is Gummy, trying to buy $17 million worth of XRP over the next 5 months to contribute to the expansion of the XRP ecosystem. Very, 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 very interesting. The move was larger than Gummy's previous $1 billion. I'm not even going to try to predict what that is. Purchase of Bitcoin, and shows increasing institutional adoption of XRP as a treasury asset. So the people on YouTube get it. The people on X don't get it. It's a treasury asset. People are going to do the same thing they did with Ethereum. They're going to buy a percentage of the entire XRP supply. That thing's going to pump to Valhalla, and they're just going to keep doing it with different stuff. That's all that's happening right now. There is no logic behind this other than the fact that they could print unlimited amounts of capital. We had Ripple Payments drop their demo. That's supposed to go ahead and increase the amount of institutions, banks that are using Ripple and XRP. That's interesting. In terms of the amount of crypto ETFs, there's 92 of them. 92 crypto ETF applications. That's insane. That's actually crazy. I mean, there are deadlines to look at, but at this point, I don't even bother looking at the deadlines because it's just eventually some of them are going to pop up. There's 92 of them. I was looking at the CFTC, and the CFTC, where is it? Is her name Caroline? Caroline. I don't even remember what her CFTC. All right, we'll find it. We'll find it. We believe. But anyway, the CFTC has their pinned tweet. I think it's like Caroline or something like that. She has her pinned tweet with the SEC, which I was like, okay, well, that's really interesting. I can't find the post now. I'm actually brain dead. This is top quality here. This is the quality you come to know and love. How's it going, Isaiah? This is quality you've come to know and love. But anyway, they're super big into crypto right now, so they're pushing it really hard. We can assume a lot of these ETFs are going to end up going through. We had delays on, I think it was the XRP one, but no. Some of these are going to pop up. We're going to get HBAR ETFs. We're going to get all kinds of ETFs. One treasury company that's popping up that has had an incredible impact on the price of an asset has been Kronos. Kronos has, as you can see here, Trump Media is buying a hell of a lot of this stuff. I've already made videos on this, so I'm not going to go too deep into it. But $6.4 billion in funds. They're building America's Kronos treasury. Very interesting. Oh, you made it as a question. Should you rotate your positions on something that might profit off sooner? Or just, I mean, that's okay. if I were like, whenever I get that question, it's like, if I own an asset that's making me money right now, should I rotate it into something else that's possibly going to make me more money? I would always tell that person that if you have a winner, you should stick to it, because a vast majority of crypto participants are going to lose money. They're going to lose money. If you're in crypto, this is going to be you. You're going to be a part of this little pie. Now, these are like your odds to make money. The odds for a dev to make money is 100%, because they see the liquidity. This is a dev, so we're type dev here. Where the amount of money that a team member is going to make, their odds to make money is about probably 80%. Now they have vesting, which is annoying, but for the most part, they're going to make money. Now, your odds to make money as a normal person is probably 20%. And the odds that you will actually take profit on that 20% is probably 5%. So if you have something that's already making you money, there's almost no reason to get out of it, because a winner will usually continue to be a winner for the rest of time, unless something drastic happens, like the dev gets too greedy and then he starts just cheating all of his tokens. There's no reason to mass rotate. This mass rotation thing is what's happening on Solana right now, and it's the reason that this is the chart. This is the chart of the amount of people trading on Solana. Let me go ahead and illustrate it on a beautiful little chart right here. So this was it when it first started. This is 2024. It kind of goes up a little bit, right? It's doing pretty well. Then it kind of stagnates coming into the summer. And then we had the elections, Trump, everything just went absolutely insane. Everybody was making tons of money. And then all of a sudden, everybody got greedy, started rugging on each other, started going ahead, taking profit more often, more aggressively. They got better at trading. They hate you. They made a Melania coin. And this is about where we're at right now. Right there. Because they tried to rotate 700 million times, and they started to use copy traders, and they all got wrecked. All of them got wrecked. But the protocols, the ones that controlled all of this, Solana's chart went like this. It started going up, 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 and then it had a bit of a correction or whatever. And then the elections happens. Oh, new all-time highs. Had a bit of a correction here. Up, 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 and it's probably going to make new all-time highs. The protocols are the things you want to bet on. You don't want to over rotate into these smaller altcoins, because this is what's going to end up happening to you. You're going to become part of the extraction. No doubt in my mind. Whenever I get that question, it's trying to complicate it. If you're winning and you've already got something profitable, congratulations, you killed it. You won. There's no such thing as something that might profit sooner. That's like a might, a maybe. What if your thing that you're holding right now that's already working profits sooner? Now, if you're down, if you're down 90% on a coin and it's dead and there's nothing to look forward to, and the developer's living in the Bahamas or in Dubai, yeah, you probably do want to rotate. You want to get out to something else that's already winning. But unless that's the case, just chill in your plays. There's no need to overcomplicate it. Stop watching YouTube videos if it really helps you. It's a simple process. And that's kind of what's worked for me. Some of the plays that did nothing for years randomly woke up because historically they fit the narrative, and I was able to make a lot of money off of it. Do I think an AVAX ETF will get approved? Yeah, I do think so. I don't see a reason why a bunch of ETFs don't end up getting approved. I don't listen to the Bankless podcast. What I am getting in the habit of, and this is more of like a business thing, is that I'm getting in the habit of whenever I do my long walk for the day, because right now I'm doing weight loss, I'm making a ton of progress right now, I listen to podcasts about business and finance and self-help. People might find it corny, or maybe it's not useful. I find that there are a lot of things in life that may seem obvious to us, but we don't apply them. We just forget them. We put them in the back burner. There are so many things that happen every single day that you have to deal with that it is almost impossible to remember about the core fundamental principles of what you should be doing. So having that reminder, listening to these podcasts are 100% incredibly important. They're vital, absolutely vital to long-term success. The average CEO reads about a book a week. About a book a week. Even though they've already made it, they still read about a book a week. And that's something I learned yesterday. I was like, that's a very interesting fact. I mean, I should take more time to read books. I should take more time to absorb knowledge. That's very important. Most of your money is in long-term positions. I mean, that's great. That's exactly what you want. You want most of your money in long-term positions. You want most of your money in positions that you know are going to do well, that you'll be able to take some profit off of, that you'll be able to turn it into yield. Yield is all you need. You farm that yield and you're good. You don't have to complicate anything in your life. Like, I'm at a position, like, I could leave tomorrow and I'll be okay. Because I was able to take profit on a lot of these positions that people felt like would go to Valhalla. They thought would go up 100,000x. I don't need my cryptocurrencies to go up 100x to make my money. You know, there's a reason I don't make videos saying XRP is going to go to $10,000. I don't need to. I don't really care whether or not there's 5 people watching this stuff or like 20 people watching this stuff. It's kind of stuff that I've already researched, that I know that, I mean, there are whales here that watch our content that own multiple houses. It's just, once you've made it, you can hold these long-term positions and not have to worry about this stuff. So that's exactly what I've been able to do. And that's it. If you're going to sell a long-term position, it's because you want to farm yield on stable coins. You don't want to just cash it out and buy something that's a liability. It makes no sense. And that's why, like, I made a video on Kronos today. It's at 30 cents. And I said, there's no reason you shouldn't take your initials out on this. there's absolutely no reason. Like, we had our icy white cards. We understand that what's going to happen at the end of this whole thing, there's going to be a blow off top, and all of this is going to go down to oblivion. It's going to go down lower than it is right now. Even if it goes to $1 or $2, like, it's going to be lower than 30 cents. So we want to position ourselves to take profit, because most people will not take profit. That's the game. The game is getting it in your head, cementing it in your head that someday I need to take profit, and I need to do it unapologetically. I cannot feel bad for the people I'm taking profit on. What about for HBAR meme coins? Do you think the potential is worth the risk? I mean, I don't have like a huge portfolio right now on HBAR meme coins. I'll show you my public wallet, because it is my public wallet after all, so I can show that stuff. Very simple. I've got like 30 grand in HBAR meme coins. It represents like 10% of my HBAR bag. It's not like, if all of these go to zero tomorrow, I'll be perfectly fine. But the risk reward for me, it's incredible. The entire ecosystem is still so early on. There's the ability to have an impact in it. There's no reason for me not to trade them. So I've been trading them, and I've been doing quite well. I mean, people that have been tracking my HBAR portfolio are up right now. Absolutely are up, especially against HBAR. Because it's still so early on in this ecosystem. Now, can it all go to zero? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We could see Gib die tomorrow. That's always the risk you're taking with meme coins. But if it only represents a small portion of your bag, and you see the fact that if an institutional chain gets a bid, it's going to go up, all the retail coins will go up because retail attention comes to institutions, then that's good. If chart go up, retail comes. That's the easiest way to explain it. If the chart is going up, retail will come, and that's it. 30K HBAR memes bag, and that's big A, and that's not including the NFTs that I own. And I'm going to go into HBAR more later. I already have the charts pulled up and everything, but let's just keep going through everything. I don't have that much to talk about yet left. So we got Born here. So Born was the newest crypto gaming launch. If you didn't know, I mean, if you were watching this channel, let me put the light on. If you were watching this channel, you would know that for a very long time, I was only focused on crypto gaming. I turned $700 into mid-5 figures in 2021, and I'm very good at trading gaming coins. This was a very obvious play. This was Spellborn. It was an airdrop farm. This is kind of the current meta in gaming. I made a thread talking about this whole thing. If you're making a token dedicated to one game in crypto gaming, you're not in the business of making a great game. These guys are not in the business of making a great game, because if they are trying to make a great game, this is what happens. You don't focus on the chart. And this is exactly what's going to happen. The likelihood of them actually making revenue off of a game is negligible. It's not good. It's bad odds. You have very poor odds. The gaming industry sucks to invest in. It is one of the worst places to invest your money into. Just straight up. It sucks to invest into. You're in the business of pumping your token. It's a narrative game. And it's always been a narrative game. I've said this since day one. You're buying into the narrative, the story, the entertainment. That's what you're in the business of. You're in the business of pumping your token to get speculators to then cash out over time and then build a product, which I think is flawed. Now, here's what I think. You could either make a gaming chain and raise money, incubate gaming studios, become a publisher, and hope one of them pans out, which I think is what a lot of these gaming chains are realizing, that they can't be a one game ecosystem. Or you create a Ponzi that lasts no longer than a month, because that's what most games last. They last no longer than a month. And it's just going to suck more liquidity out. It's just going to rug more people. So what's happening right now is a lot of people tried B. A lot of people tried B, and it's just not working anymore because there's not enough liquidity. So B can't be done. And people tried to do single game ecosystems. And we're seeing this. It just doesn't work. So what's going to work is gaming chains that raise funds. That's why I was very bullish on nodes, because if they're able to raise money, and the whole narrative is like, oh, these nodes are going to be running in between all these different games, well, the odds of them working out exponentially higher than going all in on one game. It's just not going to work. So I do think at some point this year, something is going to pump. Something is going to pump in gaming, and it's going to come back for a very brief moment. But I'm not going to put my money in it if my odds of making money are less than like 2%. I mean, my odds are terrible right now. There's no reason for me to do it. So that's why I didn't farm this airdrop. You didn't see any YouTube videos talking about me farming Born. The last thing you saw on this channel talking about crypto gaming was MapleStory, which I did end up at the time making the biggest sale for it. We made the biggest sale for it. And when I exited, if you listened, you didn't time the top perfectly, but you got it like 2 to 3 days after. 2 to 3 days after the top on MapleStory, you sold. That's what I did on Axie. Once I see the tides turning and I know that there's nothing to support it, I'm out. I'm not going to be saying, oh, but what if magically all these millions of gamers come in and just buy into this vision? That's not going to happen. People love buying into visions and becoming maxis. It doesn't work. It does not work in gaming. Gaming, you can't be loyal because games do die, and they die more often than not. So you have to take your profit while it's still there and get out. So that was my gaming take of the day. Also, another take. Some people, for some weird reason, I don't know who popularized this. I think it's these cringe TikTokers that sell courses. They sell their what's the rule break? It's like 1-5-15. Well, though they sell a course, one of the things is it costs $1,000. The other one costs $5,000. The other one costs $15,000. Trust me, at some point I wasn't even thinking about it because the money is too easy. The money is way too easy with courses. People buy courses like it is a feeding frenzy. It's like the tulip mania with courses. And these guys have sold this dream that you need to own this luxury sports car and be locked in. And if you're not locked in, it's your fault. You're the reason that nothing is going well in your life. And you have to take action because blah, 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 blah. You have to have $300 billion or in the age of 20, or else you're a nerd that is going to go nowhere in your life. Imagine only having a mil at 20. Like, what is wrong with people? If you have $1,000 in crypto right now, which I know a good amount of you only have that much, and that's a good amount. Trust me. When I got into crypto, I started, like you heard earlier, I started with $700. I didn't start with a lot of money. That is the opportunity that the crypto market presents. It is time versus capital. If you have a small amount of money in the crypto space right now, or I guess relatively small, you need to dedicate the time to make more money. If you already have a lot of money, I can be way lazier with my content. And, I do what I do right now, which is I'm going live because I feel happy doing it. Big A knows it. I just like doing lives because I think it's fun talking to people. But if you only have 1K in crypto, the average person does not invest. They might have some money on their 401k because they're practically forced to do it, but they don't invest, and they are screwed. So screwed over the next 10 years. People that don't invest right now and just have money sitting in their bank, I feel bad for them, but it's more than likely not because they want to willingly just leave their money in their bank account. It's because they're afraid to invest. They don't feel like it's worth the risk. But here's the problem with that. It's the same argument with 9-to-5s. 9-to-5s feel safe, but they aren't safe. If anything happens with that business, you're going to be the first that they let go. That's how this game works. There is no safety in a job. And we've come to learn that through the pandemic. The pandemic taught all of us that it's not safe to have just a regular job. That's why people have jobs. They have these side hustles that they're doing to try to make it. Because if you're not investing right now, you are getting scammed. You're losing 2 to 10% of your capital every single year, just leaving it in there. It's insane. And I just feel so bad for the people. And I have family members that are in the same ballpark where they were raised without the mindset for investing, without the fortitude to go through those ups and downs. And now, they might have been scarred once. Maybe the crypto markets went down once, or maybe some stock that they bought went down once. So they'll never invest for the rest of their life. The risk of them having invested in that one stock is negligible compared to the risk of them keeping their money in their bank account. It's all going to zero. All of it's going to zero. And it's going to zero faster every year, practically. So you kind of are forced to invest into risky, well, quote unquote, risky assets. Because if you don't, it's over. The game is over. That's why all these companies keep printing money on their shares and just buying crypto stuff, because they can. You want to be in that position, that FU position. That's what you want to do. I'm learning. We love to see it. That's exactly the goal. Imagine, and I saw this quote, it's not original. I didn't come up with this. Almost no thought is original. Imagine playing Monopoly and not buying a single property the entire game. You go through the entire board, you collect your 200, that's all. You're going to lose. Someone's going to buy those properties and you're going to go straight to zero. You're screwed. And that's what most people are doing right now. They're just letting their money sit because they're a little afraid. Stuff has happened in the past. They're not willing to risk it anymore, quote unquote. But the risk of them not buying those properties is so much higher. So that's Jesus's rant for the day. You've saying everything. I think we're all realizing that. It's absolute facts. Like, I get it. There's a high likelihood of you losing money in crypto, but the likelihood of you losing your money just by leaving it in your bank account is 100%. There's a difference, right? We're all kind of screwed, but at least we're a little bit less screwed in some aspects. And if you build an edge, you're even better than you were before. Another great one, IP. So Story, this token. I don't know anything about this coin, but I saw everyone trashing on it on the timeline. I knew for a fact, this is the problem with people. They only think about fundamentals because this chain only made like $30 in fees or something. The token is up 34% today. CT is awful for alpha. They didn't predict XRP. This is the problem with CT. CT didn't catch pump fund. They all flooded pump fund. CT flooded Bitcoin, Ethereum. We know about Ethereum, right? Everybody thought Ethereum was going to zero. Then they thought XRP was going to zero. And then they thought, well, Solana, they were shilling their Solana bags. Of course, Solana was their one good one. Cardano, they thought Cardano was going to do terribly. Cardano's pumping. Chainlink, same thing. Hyperliquid, they're shilling their Hyperliquid bags. So, they'll be doing all right there. Sui was another one that they all flooded, went to all-time highs. AVAX, they shilled, didn't do that well. Chronos, they all hated. Chronos is doing great. HBAR, they all hated. HBAR is doing great. Like, they caught nothing. They caught nothing because they were trying to overcomplicate it. People love to overcomplicate things in this life. You don't need to overcomplicate to get an edge. A lot of your edge is being left curve. And what I mean by left curve is if we have this scale for IQ, this should be what most people are doing. You should keep it brain dead. You should be brain dead when you're investing into crypto. Because if you try to say, oh, but I could yield farm this protocol and blah, 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 these bots are going to destroy you. They're going to destroy you. You have to left curve. This mid curve stuff where you're trying to apply logic to everything and then you become some, am I drawing it? Okay. It kind of does look like it. All right. Anyway, that stuff doesn't work. It doesn't work. You can't apply logic to your investments. It just doesn't work that way. If the narrative is buyback season, we trade based on that narrative and that's it. It's simple as that. All right, let's see what Big A is. We have a comment here. I was helping someone privately move some crypto and they were 49 years old trying to cash out $120 to get some food. That sucks. That sucks. But it's kind of the cards you were given. I don't feel like I don't call those people losers. I hate people that say, oh, if you're not rich by the time you're 30 or 40, you can go suck it. Not everybody is just born with the knowledge to invest. Rich people, they start with their trust funds from day one. And it just builds wealth over time. They learn how to do it. They have financial advisors inside of their families. They're set the second they're 18. But I turned 18. I hadn't even worked at Taco Bell. My parents don't invest. They still don't invest. They don't know what that is. the quote unquote investment that they have is their house. That's the only thing that they have. They were lucky enough to get a house when they were younger because pretty much anybody could afford a house. They didn't work some fancy job. They came to this country and worked hard as hell to get to where they are. And they were lucky enough to have gotten a house. And that was like one of the great things. But imagine if they didn't get a house. A lot of people forgot to do that. And you weren't born with the knowledge to get a house. You weren't born with the knowledge to invest. You have to be taught. That's all a knowledge game. All of it is a knowledge game. So shit happens. But if you're 49, it's not too late to get into this stuff. If you're 50, 55, like 60, like if you're getting to that age, it's never too late. It is never too late. It's still riskier, my friends. Still riskier not to be in than to be in. Now, of course, if you're buying tops and that's all you're doing, you're asking to get dumped on. Like really, you're asking to get dumped on. But if you're remotely responsible with the way that you invest, you do it over time, DCA, left curve it, have no logic, get into majors, get to what these treasury companies are buying. You're going to do great. Time is the biggest factor in investing. The sooner people realize it, the better. If I have 7 figures now, last cycle I had less than 6 figures. What's going to happen next cycle? I have the potential to turn that into 8 figures. If I don't get it there, I can just get it in another 4 years. I can wait 10, 15, 20 years to make 8 figures. It doesn't matter at all. So that's kind of like the game that we currently are playing. It's a time game. It's a knowledge game. That's it. There's no magical talent that people are born with to invest. It's just not a thing. Humans are not born with the traits necessary to invest. They're taught how to invest. They have to learn how to invest. It is not something we just get. We have to learn it through experience. We have to go through it. We have to go through the struggle. If you don't struggle, you're never going to understand how it feels like when it is time to go through the struggle. HBAR to $20. Why are you asking me if HBAR can go to $20? HBAR is at 20 cents. That would mean the coin is worth almost $1 trillion. No, it would be worth more than $1 trillion, right? No, it's not going to $20 this cycle. And it's also not even a bearish outlook. The coin is up 350%. I mean, it could go up in 5-10 years. That's entirely possible. But I know I'm not trying to do a price prediction for $20 HBAR. I've never done that in my entire life. I'm going to sell a good amount of my HBAR at like $1, $2. I'm being honest right now. If HBAR hits $1 this cycle and I make $1 million off of HBAR, I'm going to take profit. Hell yeah, I'm going to take profit. I think HBAR is in a good position, which is why I cover it, and I'm happy to risk it. I've been talking to a lot of players within the HBAR ecosystem because I'm trying to learn more about it. That's something that as a creator, I have the privilege of doing. So I'm using that to my full extent. If some of you are wondering why I still make these videos, the reason is because I'm able to connect with people. Being a creator is a great way to help you connect. If I'm a regular investor, I don't have any advantage. If I'm a creator, I get connections, network. I'm able to ask people like, hey, what's going on HBAR? What's exciting? And I'm able to ask the actual source that's making it happen. So that's the main reason that I make content at this point, but still very exciting. Very, very exciting. If XRP gets to 10K, HBAR gets to $20, I agree with that take. No, if XRP gets to 10K, you won't see me making YouTube videos anymore. You will not see me making YouTube videos. I will be long gone if XRP gets to 10K. I would have been gone at like what 10K is. No, what would XRP need to get for me not to make YouTube videos? Man, I don't know. I feel like $100 would be more than enough for XRP. I don't know. We'll see. Let's keep dream posting. Anyway, so I know a lot of you are asking me about HBAR. I've been covering a lot of HBAR. So HBAR ecosystem, Gib is killing it. Look at these charts. How are you bearish on this? Who could be bearish on this? The one thing I will say is the volume sucks. It's a low volume coin. Doesn't have a lot of volume. This also tells us that the foundation is not pumping it. This isn't the same situation, big A, as when we had AVAX pumping everything. This is all organic. It's all just kind of happening. Ecosystem's naturally growing. I don't think HBAR's focus is on these meme coins. I don't think HBAR's focus is on NFTs at all. Their focus is on institutions, which in my humble opinion is exactly what the meta represents right now. It's the buyback meta. We want treasury companies to buy our HBAR bags. That's going to send it higher, and that's going to create the retail flywheel that we're looking for. I can't believe it's becoming so easy for me to just yap for 40 minutes. It's incredible. But anyway, we've been seeing these NFTs go up a lot. which I do think that Pixels goes higher. I'm saying that because I hold it. I'm not going to pretend I don't hold these bags. I definitely do hold these bags. But I've been trading a little bit. This one I'm taking a loss on. I was able to make some profit on, what are these guys called? These H-graph punks. The things that I buy these days, dude. I swear. All right, how can I show you how much I bought them for? Okay, so I bought 4 of them for about 400 HBAR. So let's do some math. 400, 400, 400, 420. So it was 1,620 HBAR. And I was able to sell them for, let's do some math here. Let's do some friendly little math here. Calculator. 499 plus 498 plus 623. And then the other one I'll probably sell for like, I don't know, 500 HBAR. Now I profited 500 HBAR off that. I mean, I'm all profits right now. Anything I sell it for. So I made on that trade alone about $100. Not bad. Pretty simple. Nothing crazy. The ecosystem's just not big enough to have a lot of profit right now or a lot of size. But still, small opportunities like that do present themselves in the ecosystem. I think they're not much, but eventually there might be something. And the ecosystem's on an uptrend. So we shall see if that continues to be the case. That's what I'm very excited about. This is something I found pretty cool. This is Gainsey. He's a pump fund live streamer. I've been looking at his streams. I think he has cool takes. Let me know if you guys can hear this. Nah, that's sad. Yeah, TLDR, he's saying everybody sucks at trading and that people should just do long-term holds and then farm yield. And I agree with that take. I think it's a great fucking take. So that's pretty much it. I'll do some questions here. I'll do like 5 minutes worth of questions and then I'm going to head out. I got to go to the gym. Got to do my steps. Got to do my calls. But yeah, I'll do some questions and then we'll head out. At this current state of the market, if you had to ask me what I'm doing to position, there are a couple things that are interesting to me personally. I have investments within World Liberty Finance. World Liberty Finance is launching their token very, 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 very soon. This is on September 1st. This is very special. They have trading right now happening on Hyperliquid, which, as you can see, I don't even have a Hyperliquid account connected right now, so I can't show you. But yeah, World Liberty Finance is trading right now. I have people in my DMs asking me whether or not you should do 1x futures on this. I don't know. I wouldn't do it. I would not do this. What I would do instead, if you're trying to catch the World Liberty Finance launch, is that I would buy Block. That's what I would do. And none of these are sponsored. That's just me looking at it. So this is what Block is. Block is doing really well. I mean, you can see this chart, things cooking. And it's cooking because, I'll wait for it. It's the first official USD1 native launch pad. We know World Liberty Finance. They have a stable coin. It's called USD1. It's going to be absolutely massive. It already has a very massive market cap. They're the first official launch pad. So what's going to happen? First coin's going to launch. It's going to do well. And then this thing's going to pump higher. I would rather play adjacent plays to World Liberty Finance than try to buy World Liberty Finance itself. And in terms of like how to farm yields, there are a lot of coins you could do this on. But if the funding rate turns negative, you could just farm yield on just doing 1x spot. Tons of coins that you're holding spot on right now, you could just be farming it on 1x. The tokens aren't just going to magically go down 90%. I've been trying to get exposures to chains you're unexposed on. Bodogos. Yeah, Bodogos is doing the buyback meta. They're buying back with their K9. Is it K9 strategy that they're calling it? Something like that. Yeah, they're cool. I think they're cool. Bodogos are cool. NFTs, though, are just not getting the same traction that I thought they would get by this point in the cycle. They just haven't gotten the hype cycle. So we'll see. And Bodogos are doing well, though. If there's any Solana NFT to buy, it's probably Bodogos. But people love to sell on Solana. What even is going on in Magic Eden these days? Are they still doing the Bitcoin thing? I hope not. Who uses Bitcoin? Yeah, it should be Solana. So these guys are, where are they? Where are my Bodogos? Do these just not pop up anymore? Bodoggos. A couple, yeah, don't invest in anything crazy. Don't do anything crazy. Just do whatever you feel comfortable with. It's not a guaranteed play, and World Liberty Finance could go to zero just like Trump coin. But for me, it's worth the risk. I just threw like $1,000. I didn't throw anything crazy. But yeah, these guys are cooking, honestly. I think these guys are going to do pretty well. I'm not buying them though right now. One that I did see was getting a lot of traction was Moonbirds. Moonbirds is kind of cooking. Where are they? Right here. And Moonbird's cooking big time. They had an order book of 40 Moonbirds that were listed. All of them were listed at the same time. And they've eaten through all of them pretty much. Almost all 40 of them have sold pretty quickly, like relatively quickly, which means to me that I think we are going to be going up soon for the Moonbirds. But of course, Moonbirds are not cheap. Moonbirds are fucking expensive right now. What's a floor Moonbird? How do we look at this? Click. It's $12,500 for a Moonbird right now. That's crazy. It's only 2 ETH too. That's wild to me. 2 ETH not that long ago was not worth a lot of money. That's worth a lot. So what, a Pudgy is worth 44,000? Oh wow. These guys are worth a lot. AVAX versus Sol depends. For Solana, you're betting on ETFs, meme coins coming back. For AVAX, you're betting on institutions, lending protocols, DeFi yield. If you're bullish on those narratives respective to both chains, then that should be the one that you buy. I am more bullish on the upside on AVAX because AVAX is worth a lot less. They're worth a hell of a lot less. I think their tech is undervalued. I don't think it makes any sense that this coin is at where it is right now. But I can't control it. It is what it is. Solana is very high already. And Solana, I don't think it can 10x, even if it wanted to. Maybe it'll 5x. That's a possibility. But it's not going to go much higher than that. So risk to reward. Solana is a safer bet, no doubt. Solana is a much safer bet because Solana has already kind of proven itself. It's got a ton of volume already. AVAX is a lot more speculative. I don't see why you couldn't just own both. That's kind of what I did. You debated buying back into Moonbirds? Yeah, big time. It's way down. It's your pick. Yeah, it's fair. That's honestly very fair. I mean, I'm in the same boat as you. I own a very healthy amount of AVAX. Maybe, no, actually, I own more HBAR than I do AVAX at this point because HBAR is pumped a lot. I got my HBAR at 5 cents and I got my AVAX at about $20. So I'm not up a lot on AVAX, but I am up a lot on HBAR. I'm up a lot on HBAR. So, I mean, we'll see. We'll see where it all goes. I could see AVAX very easily doing very well. It all depends on what the market wants to buy because there's some great announcements going on. AVAX versus HBAR. I have bags on both of them. I have a bias. I have a bag bias on both of them. So I can't tell you which one I would rather buy. I would just buy both of them. That's what I would do. That's what I do on my channel. You can't ask me those questions because I already own both of them. It would have to be like something I don't own. So I don't have like some magical bias that is reflected in my content. I'm unapologetic about my bias. I think people that they own a ton of this cryptocurrency, but they're not. But like, imagine you talk to an XRP YouTuber and they're like, "Would you buy XRP or Ethereum?" Obviously, they're gonna say XRP. If you ask an Ethereum YouTuber whether or not they would buy ETH or XRP, they're gonna say they would buy Ethereum. Like, everybody has bag bias, whether or not they want to admit it or not. There's a reason they own the bags that they own because they're more bullish on it. Just say AVAX and pump my bags. If only the world worked that way. We just yap a little bit and everything just goes up. Yeah, hopefully. But yeah, it's been a fun live stream. I'm going to be calling it here. I'm trying, God willing, we can actually stick to a schedule for once. I've been killing it the past couple of days. Look at this. I don't really have bags on my eyes right now. I'm killing it right now. I've been sleeping. I've been actually getting sleep. I was not getting sleep for the longest time. I was working my ass off way too much. But the goal is to do live streams 12 p.m. Eastern time to 1 p.m. Eastern time. I'm a little flexible with myself. I might be late. Maybe today I was late. But I'm going to try my best, my darn best, to do it at 12 p.m. Eastern time. That sound good to you guys? I hope so. Thank you for tuning into the stream. Stay classy, my friends, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace, 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 peace.